Hey guys, it's Dustin. So today is May the 25th, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure today's the 25th. It's Friday. So hopefully I'll be starting to pick things back up with my videos more. I've just had a lot going on. A lot of personal stuff and then also school stuff. I took my last exam today, so tomorrow we have a short little thing going on at school, and then I'll be out for the summer, so I should have plenty more time to work on stuff. Yesterday I made the video and put it on there. That was my first one for like a week, and again, I've just been so busy. But it wasn't a very good update. It was kind of choppy. My mom needed me to come help her with some stuff, and then it was pouring rain. It poured rain all last night. I think might have still been raining this morning. Then it stopped raining, and then all the way back home from taking my exam earlier this morning, it started raining again. So it's been raining a lot. But the birds are doing fine. It had actually rained so much, and the wind has been blowing in every direction it can, and it has blown rain all the way back into the back of this thing. I've told y'all I don't really worry about this thing getting wet. When it rains, that perch and this one gets wet, but the water doesn't usually come back past these first row of nest boxes right here. It usually stays pretty dry back there, and then it dries out pretty quickly. And believe me, it has, because it was soaked. You can probably still see they're all going to come running up to me because they're hungry. But you can still see it's kind of wet along the back wall there. What happened was it had gotten so wet. Bentley just jumped up on my shoulder and decided he was leaving, but I was able to grab onto him. Anyways, I'll shut the door for a moment while I talk to y'all. Before someone else decides they want to make a break for it. It had gotten, I hadn't really cleaned this thing out in a little while, and so they had lots of poop in there, even lots of poop on the feeder there. And with it being, having rained so much, the poop was all wet, and it was starting to stain my white ones. You can see the back of that whiter pigeon is kind of stained, poop colored, his tail is. I noticed it happening to the satin net I've got in here, so and it was already so wet in there, and I'd accidentally left our hose on. It was on over here, so I was, you know what, I can't make it any worse, so I went ahead and sprayed out the whole loft with the water hose. Actually looks much nicer now. I almost forgot the top of that feeder is painted white. It's not real white anymore, but it is indeed painted. Let's see if Bentley's trying to get out. Anyway, step back, guys. So, they're all wanting me to feed them. What did you do to your wing? You got someone pooped on you. Stay back, you're a flight risk. Anyways, so I sprayed it all out, and it's dried out pretty well already. The sun's not been out very long, but it's been pretty breezy, so you can see all the way along on the back wall back there is still, I can't really see, it's not focusing, but y'all saw just a moment ago. It's still wet back there. It hasn't dried out completely, but it will. And I know y'all are all thinking, well, Dustin, isn't it bad to get water in your loft? Isn't that something you want to avoid? Well, yeah, it generally is, but this loft is just so open. I mean, the two sides of it, the whole front is open, the whole bottom is open, just wire. Air gets in around the door and through the trap too. It's so open that I really don't worry about it. The water itself will not hurt them. The water just makes everything damp and makes it easier for parasites, bacteria, fungus, easier for that to live and to breed. But this loft does not stay wet. Even though it's been raining so hard, even these past few hours, just the breeze blowing, the whole thing, most of it is dried out. And yeah, it's not completely dried out, and it's going to be wet in between the 2x4 and there, and it's going to not be a good place. But I've never had any problems with it. Yeah, the drier you can keep it, the better. But I've not ever had any problems with this loft. I'm not too worried about fungal spores or anything contaminating the air because there's so much airflow. I'm just not too worried about it. Yeah, some stuff could probably breed in the cracks here, but the loft is just so well ventilated it doesn't ever cause a problem. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. A lot of this is opinion. But anyways, we should probably address the fact that there are a lot of pigeons in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, I guess I've got 18 pigeons in here. I got 2 more over there I need to move over. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You could say I've got about 13 box perches in here, kinda. That one back there is not divided up very well. Y'all can't really see. The camera will only focus on the wire. So that one's not really divided up very well. I could divide this up. I could divide up the top too, so that there's enough room. I mean, there's always several of them up there on the top. They don't really fight too bad. They stand on the feeder too. So yeah, I mean, the amount of birds I've got in here is doable. But I'm about to move 2 more over, and I actually got a surprise yesterday, or maybe it wasn't yesterday, maybe it was the day before. Some of you who are subscribers, y'all know I've got a friend named Rick. He actually, this year is the president of the racing club I'm a part of, and he let me know yesterday or the day before that there's another guy in the club named Joe who has some young birds for me. Joe usually raises up a lot of birds, and he's going to give me some young birds, which was a surprise. It wasn't something I asked for, and this loft is already kind of maxed out, so I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful. This really is not that many pigeons to be racing, especially my first season. I don't have the experience that other people do, so, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for that. But, and the point I'm making is not that I better not take the pigeons, it's I need to get my new loft built. I've got enough money saved up. I'm ready to start building my new loft. I talked to my friend who, his grandfather owns a lumber mill. I should be able to get boards from him for a pretty good price. He's going to find out how much it's going to be, and then I'll figure out something about going and getting those. And basically what I'm going to do first is build a frame out of 2x4s, put the boards on it, put a plywood, or it'll probably be OSB, an OSB roof on it, and then shingle it. And then after I've got that done, then I'll come in and I'll put the OSB along the inside of the walls, on the other side of the 2x4s on the inside, and I'm not exactly sure at what point I'll put the floor in, whatever I don't know. Obviously the floor is not going to be the very first thing in case it gets rained on, but I don't know. At the same time, maybe it will. Actually, it probably will be part of it. I'll probably build a 2x4 frame and put in the floor, then put in the sides, and then the roof. And then I'll shingle the roof, and then after that, it'll be better protected from it raining on it. And then I'll come in and put the OSB on the inside, and hopefully there will be insulation in between the boards that make the outside wall and the OSB that makes the inside wall, which will make it a lot easier to keep warm in the winter and also keep it from becoming an oven in the summer. Y'all know I just kind of threw this loft together as cheaply as possible, using the cheapest materials possible. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it does work, but I just didn't put enough thought into it, and I just kind of threw it together. It's got a flat roof, which isn't necessarily bad, except that I did not build the rest of the loft properly, and so the whole loft kind of twisted. I don't remember which direction it's twisted. Maybe I can tell if I come over here and look. I think this edge is higher than that back one, and higher than this one, and then the other back edge on the left side over here is higher than these, so it twisted. The front kind of twisted that way, and the back kind of twisted that way, because of the way I built it. Y'all might be able to see, looking right along here, y'all can probably see it's kind of bowed. I also didn't brace the door. I should have braced the door with 2x4s, and I was going to, but I just kind of got lazy and was in a hurry to get it done, and so I didn't do that. So there's little gaps along the roof up there. Y'all know I mentioned yesterday Let's see. Y'all know I mentioned yesterday I left a lip of plywood when I made the floor. I did a 2x4 frame, and I put the plywood on top of it, and then I built the walls, the 2x4 frames for the walls, put them on the plywood and screwed them in, which isn't too terribly bad, but I left a lip. I set them back about a ½ inch from the edge of the plywood so that I would have something to sit the OSB on, which makes sense. But when it rains, the rain comes, and then there's places where I just didn't get the OSB cut right, and it does this. You can see there's a gap here. Now that's not mold or anything in there. That's where I tried to spray some foam, expanding foam in there to seal it, but it didn't work. Anyway, so there's this gap, and the water runs down, and then curves and goes up under there, and that's not good. So definitely design issues with this, and y'all have been commenting stuff about how I did it wrong, and yeah, I know, I messed up. And after I build my new loft, I'll probably put some effort and some money into fixing this one a little bit. For one, something I always intended to do and never did is I've got some leftover piece of OSB, actually, right here, these, that I meant to put at an angle above these windows, brace it with 2x4s or something, paint it red like the rest of the loft, and that would deal with a lot of my issue of water getting in there. Y'all know I have a problem with rain blowing in the windows. It's not that I just didn't know better, it's just that I'm lazy and didn't put them on there, and I really need to do that. But in order to do it, I'm going to have to then take the aviary back off, put those on, and then put the aviary back on. And I really need to brace the aviary better. The aviary just is screwed into the building, but then it has this one, I don't know, it's like a 2x2, I guess. I just cut it out of a 2x4. I didn't buy it like this. And it's on a sitting on a brick with the grass is growing up around. It's hard to mow right here. I need to weed eat it. Obviously you can see the pigeon poop fertilized ground right here grows grass very, very well. And also, y'all know I talked about when I build my flying loft, I'm going to have a fly pen attached. And that's not so much for the birds to be able to fly around and exercise. Of course, they don't need that. They're going to be doing plenty of flying anyways. I just want to make their home as nice as possible. You know, the whole deal with racing is you want the birds to love their home and want to come home to it as quickly as possible. And there's plenty of incentives you can use with old birds, usually their mate or their offspring being that incentive to get them to come home faster. But you want them to love their home, so why not make it as nice as possible? I'm just going to have it built basically something like our chicken pen down there, which is just made out of 2x4. No, it's not. It's made out of 2x6s, I think. I don't remember for sure. Maybe on 4x4 posts. Anyways, maybe it is made of 2. I think it is 2x4s. I don't remember. But anyways, it'll be something like that. Maybe a little smaller. Maybe not. Something like that attached to the outside of my loft. And I'm just going to leave it grass in the bottom. I've read things about putting sand in it or pine needles or whatever, but I'm just going to leave it as the grass. The pigeons like to walk around in the grass. They like to eat little bits of grass, especially the chickweed. We've got chickweed in our yard. I'm looking for some. That's, yeah, this stuff right here. They love that. Here's some little tiny yellow clovers. They like to eat those. So I'm just going to leave it, you know, kind of grass and weeds in the bottom. I am going to put a bird bath in there, hopefully with some kind of filter, just to get the water moving, agitate the water, hopefully with some water dripping down into it. It'll get new birds' attention very quickly. It'll be very appealing to birds, thirsty birds that come home and see the fountain going in there. They want to drink, they want to get in there. It's all about making sure that they love their home and want to be inside of it. And obviously they love being out in their aviary. Why not give them a bigger one with a grass bottom instead of just that wire bottom that's harsh on their feet? So that's why I don't have to do that, but I am. And I don't think it's going to cost that much extra. Most of the money there is going to come out of the wire. Those 2x4s are going to cost less than $3 a piece. So the frame is going to be next to nothing to build. I'm just going to have to buy a roll of wire to put around it. So I don't think that'll add too much, but that's not first priority. I'm going to build the new loft and get them moved into it first, whether I have the money to build the aviary or not, and then I'll put the aviary on afterwards if I need to. Yeah, that was a lot. Without a visual, hopefully that made sense to y'all. I'm the kind of person that needs a visual. I need something to look at. But I've built a couple of lofts already, and I've seen things like this, and I've been thinking about it for long enough. I can talk about it and kind of know what I'm saying. But hopefully that made sense to y'all. The only thing I do need to figure out about though is I like that this loft is raised up off the ground, and in fact I wish it was a little higher so it would be easier to get up underneath it. It's never a bad idea to be able to get up underneath your loft. But at the same time, I want to do a pin like that, and I don't want a wire bottom on it. So it's not going to be raised up off the ground. It is going to be on the ground, and I'm going to have to make sure I put it somewhere with fairly level ground. But that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to be something like that, which I guess is a lot harder for y'all to see because I'm just looking at it. There you go. Now I zoomed in. Now you're seeing about like I see it, I guess. But the camera only, small lens anyways. But so it's going to be something like that, and that's probably 5 feet in there. I'm not going to make it any taller than that. I think that's 5 feet. 5 feet is how the standard height for the wire. And again, they don't need to fly around a bunch. It's mostly for them to walk around out on the ground and sun themselves and stuff. I'll have some perches in there, but not many. I'm not going to have a lot of perches for them to fly in between or anything, because it's not really for flying. It's just for them to be able to get out on the ground and stuff. Excuse me. The pigeons, they like to be out in the grass, so I'll probably keep their grid out there too. Maybe have something in there with sand in it. I don't know. I think pigeons will bathe in the sand. Now pigeons, everyone knows pigeons love to bathe in water. But I think they'll do it in the sand some too. Either way, I'll be giving them grit, so I don't know. Food for thought. But yeah, so I may just have the loft raised up a little and have it sitting on the ground. And if the loft was raised up a little higher than this, at that 5 foot, it might come to right here. So my windows are down here. I don't know. I might just have it real low to the ground. I don't know. I like being able to get up under there, but at the same time, I might have it closer to the height that our storage shed is up above the ground. See, I mean, it's off the ground, but it's not very far. So I might have it something more like that. But the lower it is to the ground, the more friendly environment it is for mice. And I don't want mice in my loft, so. Or snakes. Don't want snakes hiding under there either. Of course, no matter what it is, it will have wire around the bottom where their fly pin is. But, I don't know. Anyways, we'll step inside the loft. Alright, so now we're inside the breeding loft. And keep in mind that I told y'all, I live here in Davidson County, North Carolina. So it has been raining a lot. And if you live close by, you know that. Had some storms, actually had some tornado warnings north of us. A couple tornadoes did touch down, so we've been having some bad weather, but so it is kind of wet in here. And it should not be wet, but again, and y'all don't have to leave this in the comments because I know I've made some serious design flaws. Just to recap, this should be one long 2x4 going across the top, attached to the tops of these, instead of pieces in between these, which is what allowed it to bow. And the same goes for the bottom, stuff like that. And like I said, I should have something coming down over here, keep the rain from blowing in the windows, instead of it being just straight up like this, where all the water has to do is come drip right down. But yeah, so I know I will be making some changes. I'll be doing a better job with my new loft, and I will put some effort into making this one better afterwards. I may redo the roof. I I may put a larger roof on it, I don't know. That would certainly help. That would help a lot. But first things first, I need to get my big flying loft done. So anyways, we were just in here yesterday, so there's, not too much different. This little roller, he's got some spunk to him. He's trying to bite me. Not really. I mean, they won't really bite you, but he wants me to think he will. He's making a clicking noise with his beak. I don't know that y'all can hear it. Y'all probably can't hear it, but those of you that also have pigeons and breed pigeons probably know what I mean. So in here we got our nice mad satinette. She's not real happy that I'm in here. Anyways, her baby's looking good. Probably gonna be mostly white. White flights. We'll see how the tails do. I'm not sure. This one wound up with a colored tail. That one's tail is mostly colored. Their dad only has a few white flights in his tail, but and she doesn't have any, so I don't know. We'll see. Again, this pair of homers sitting on eggs, and those are their babies right there, which they're still feeding. That right there is the dad. The mom is right there, that blue bar. So they're still feeding those babies up there. I was surprised they went ahead and laid these eggs, but they did it in time that I'll be able to use race them. And they've got 2 eggs. These guys have 2 eggs. No, that's a baby, and it's not his baby. This is one of the ones that needs to be moved out to the flying loft now. I kind of don't want to get any more birds in there trying to adjust. I've got the others in there to where I could put the bob back on the door now, send them through it a few times, and then really I could start flying them again, which I'm pretty eager to do. But at the same time, now these guys, this one and its sibling right there, that blue bar, they need to get moved over. So, here we go again. I'm very anxious to be done breeding. I enjoy breeding. It's fun seeing what comes out, but as far as my homers go, I'm getting pretty tired of it. I wish I could have had enough birds that I could have gotten them all to breed pretty close together once, and then pretty close together the second time, and then just be done. But they're on their 3rd round. If I'd been able to do it like I wanted to, they'd already have 2 rounds, because they do have 2 rounds out. I'd be done now. I'd be moving these over and I'd be done, but now I'm still going to have to move those over, those when they hatch, those when they hatch, those when they hatch, and then there's a nest right down here. And again, y'all saw on the other side of the loft where I was talking about the OSB not being cut right and water getting in there. I'm worried that their nest is going to get wet and it's going to kill the babies, which at the moment are just eggs. But so far they're doing fine, so hopefully that works out. I wish he hadn't made a nest. He has a nest box right here, and they've had 2 generations in it already, but decided to go down there. Oh, I did write theirs down. It was... no, okay, I guess I got everyone's written down. I was thinking I didn't get theirs written down, so I turn over here. No, I see where theirs are supposed to hatch. Oh, maybe it was... Nope, I've got everyone written down. See, I was not expecting this pair of eggs down here. I was not expecting them to still be on the May side, but they are. In the last week of May is when they'll hatch on the 28th. Which again, that's odd. So that feather is still in the blood. Anyways, so they'll be born on the 28th, but that's a pretty far cry from the last pair of eggs, which will be born on the 11th of June. So again, unfortunately, that's 2 weeks between them. I don't have them all hatching out that close together, and I really wish I did. But that's because of the quantity of birds I have. So he's sitting on the nest over there. That's the cock. So maybe they finally laid. I've been expecting them to lay for a while, but it hadn't happened. Nope, he's just sitting. This is their baby, which they've kicked out, but now they're letting it come back in again. I don't know why. I mean, not that it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think they're feeding it. They just don't mind it being in there. They know it's their baby. But I'm surprised they haven't laid. I've been expecting her to lay for about a week. I was expecting them to lay before this pair, and then this pair, they've got 2 eggs. Theirs will hatch in the something like the first week of June. And then their baby, which I need to name, it's doing pretty well. I think it can probably fly. Looks like it. Yep. Still needs to finish growing its tail out a little bit. Probably its wings a little bit more, but nice looking bird. Come here. Nice looking bird just getting away. Sit it out here in the light where y'all can see. So this one's a blue grizzle with a lot of white piebald on it. So, and it's a hen. I know it's a hen because it's from a sex-linked breeding. Anyways, it'll probably fly right back over there. It comes down and eats and everything. It's just not fully independent yet. So, Satinette's doing fine. She was looking like she needed to lay. But as far as I know, they haven't taken a nest yet. I need to clean things out in here, but I figure it got kind of damp in here. This is going to dry easier on the perch than it will on the ground. So I'm trying to let things kind of get dried out first, and then I'll scrape everything. That black roller right there, I'm pretty sure it's a cock. It was cooing and bowing earlier. It's always tried to fight me. But, so it's probably going to be a cock. I'm going to go kick that pigeon out. This one I know is a hen. It's from sex-linked breeding. I could do to name it. I keep saying that and I haven't named any of them. I have to find just the right name. I know this one's a cock, so. This Satinette's name is Hinata. I'm not sure what Hinata means. It's Japanese. Friend named it. Anyways, Charles, no different. I showed y'all his tail yesterday. All those feathers have started growing back in, but you can't really tell just by looking at him yet. You have to pick him up and actually look. Not much change in here. Not much to report. See how big these babies are getting. So the test is to look at the underside of the wing. So let's see, those feathers look like they're just about half grown. They've probably got another week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and I'll be able to have them moved out to the flying loft. So now I need to take these guys, though, that check and that blue bar. I'll do that real quick and then I'll show you. Alright guys, I just got them moved over to the loft, but I'm not going to be able to show you all very well through the wire because the camera just wants to focus on the wire. And they're all wanting to get out the door, so I'm going to have to feed them real quick. I'm almost out of food. I actually meant to get, y'all can't see. It's not focusing. Okay, y'all can't see. I'm not going to make y'all stare into a dark, empty bag. Anyways, there's a little bit of food left in there. It's enough to feed them, but I need to get some more. I kind of forgot to do it earlier, so I'll probably get it tomorrow morning. But I put it on my calendar when I bought the bag this time so I could look back and see how long it took me to go through that. Mostly just out of curiosity. Let's see, today is the 25th. I bet I bought it on the 7th. I don't know, I had something going on then. I'm trying to figure out where it is. Oh, it wasn't 7th, it was 15th. Maybe on the 9th I did something. Yeah, I got it on the 9th. So I was thinking they were lasting me about a week, but it looks like not. Today's the 25th. So that's 25 minus 9 would be 16. So it only lasted me a little over 2 weeks. I thought it was lasting me a little bit longer than that. Sorry, hit the camera. Anyways, I might make one last attempt to see if y'all can see this in here. There we go. So that's how much food I got left. I'm going to give it to them. I got the pitcher laying out here to feed them with. Believe it or not, I actually used to feed them with just a cup from inside the house back when I didn't have very many. So I'm certainly spending a little bit more money on pigeon food now, but I'm also making more money now than I used to, so I'm not too worried about it. It still doesn't cost very much to feed them, so just got more and more of them, so I'll get back to y'all with that. Alright guys, so I just fed them and they're kind of going crazy, and I'm going to try and help them out a little bit. They always try and eat on this side, and so then there's lots of room on the other side, and they're all stuck over here. Anyway, so those are the two birds I just put in here. Of course, the ones that don't act hungry and don't act like they know what's going on, because they're not hungry. I basically keep food in the breeding loft at all times, so they've got full crops. They were also being fed. I don't think they were being fed by their own parents, though. I think that, that blue bar cock sitting on the nest there, where they were under there, I think it's been feeding them probably. Or at least the blue bar. The blue check is actually significantly larger than the blue bar. Both are at a healthy weight, but size-wise, this one's just a bit bigger. It's easy to tell when I pick it up. I can feel it. Kind of messy looking. Babies always are. Anyways, I need to get all their band numbers recorded. I honestly have no idea what their bands say. I mean, I looked at them all and I got them, but I don't remember what they say anymore. I started a database on Microsoft Access. It's a program on Microsoft used for making databases. So basically, it'll just help me keep track of everything. I'm setting it all up. It's kind of hard to explain. I actually just it was part of my computer class that I took in high school this year. It was one of the things we went over. It was terrible. I hated it, but it's actually really useful. And I don't know if my computer teacher will see this. She probably will. I know her son's one of my subscribers. But yeah, I hated learning about Access in computer class, but I'm glad I did it. It's pretty useful. I set up one already. I just haven't finished putting all the information in it. I'm going to be able to put in band numbers, their colors, patterns, their gender. It's going to be able to help me record who they come from, who I buy them from, who I sell them to. Of course, most of these, it's just going to record their parents. But ones like this one that I bought at the auction, it's going to record who I get them from and when I give or sell. And again, I've only ever sold one pigeon actually, and it was for charity. But when I do give them away sometimes under certain conditions, so it'll help me keep track of all that. If any ever get lost, someone calls me, give me the band number, I can say, oh yeah, I gave that pigeon or sold that pigeon to such and such. So that'll be good, and it helped me keep track, because at first I knew which pigeons were which, but now it's getting kind of hard because I can still tell which one Bentley is, and but this blue bar, this one right here, that I raised up from the pair that has the babies in the orange grit box up there in my breeding loft. Anyways, it's going to start looking exactly the same as this blue bar right here that I just moved in. Or sorry, the blue bar is right there. And at the moment, he's still got poop stuck to his band, and he kind of has that baby look, so I can tell the difference. But I better go ahead and get their band number information recorded, or I'm going to lose track of who's who. I mean, that one's going to look just like its actually, its sibling is a little darker. That's its sibling right there. But I've got another one in here. The sibling to my grizzles. They're all gonna look the same. I'm about to get some more birds from a guy. I said his name's Joe. Honestly, I don't know what his last name is, but I don't say last names on my YouTube channel. Just be safe. But and he's a member of the club, so his birds, I would imagine, are going to have the green club bands on them too. Of course, these ones from the auction have white bands. I'm not sure what the indigo has on it, but the other three are all from the same guy. So yeah, I need to get all that recorded. If I continue to put it off, eventually I'm going to be trying to guess which pigeon is which, and I just want to keep track of them. But I think that's it. But y'all know I have a pretty bad habit of forgetting stuff I want to tell y'all, so I'll make the closing for my video a separate piece. But thanks for watching. Alright guys, so in between the last little segment and this one, I had to respond to a text, and I realized that I was wearing shoes when I started texting, and now I'm not. So I'm not really sure how that happened or where my shoes are. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to stay tuned for more updates. Hopefully I'll be getting them up more frequently now. Things will probably start picking up again once I start flying. There'll be more going on. A little more consistency, but there'll still probably be more going on. But thanks for watching, guys. Take care.